So let's just dive right into something that really lays bare the financial reality for so many families right here in the U.S. It's pretty striking when you look at the numbers, isn't it?
It really is.
Did you know, for instance, that Americans collectively spend more each year on things like shoes, jewelry, and watches than they do on higher education? It makes you pause.
It absolutely does. And that picture becomes even clearer when you consider another statistic from the sources.
Sure.
As of early 2023, a significant 60% of U.S. adults were living paycheck to paycheck.
Wow, 60%?
Yeah. And crucially, that includes a large number of households earning what would traditionally be considered, a comfortable income.
Those figures aren't just numbers. They represent real pressure, real stress for families trying to navigate everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And it immediately brings up a really important question. What if finding financial breathing room, actually reducing that chronic stress, and having more time for the people you love wasn't primarily about chasing a higher income?
Right.
What if it was fundamentally about owning and maybe wanting less stuff?
Right. That question gets right to the heart of what we're exploring in this deep dive. We're focusing on financial minimalism specifically for families here in the U.S.
Okay.
It's about understanding how intentionally reducing clutter, not just the physical items filling our homes, but also the associated financial burdens and even the commitments that consume our time, how that can create powerful positive impacts on our money and our relationships.
Especially with kids in the picture.
Exactly. This perspective feels particularly relevant when you're raising kids in today's dynamic and, often uncertain environment.
And the insights we're drawing from today come from a really interesting collection of perspectives you've shared with us. We've got articles digging into the core concepts of saving money through minimalism.
Yeah, the foundational ideas.
Guides offering very practical, specific tips for parents looking to cut costs, which is always helpful.
Definitely.
And even some candid discussions from online communities, real people wrestling with these exact challenges amidst economic uncertainty and the daily juggle of raising a family.
Right. That real-world context is so valuable. Our mission for this deep dive is to synthesize the most important ideas and practical strategies from these sources.
Yeah.
We want to go beyond just, tidying shelves to show how adopting a less is more mindset is a powerful pathway to achieving financial peace, finding relief from overwhelm, and truly focusing on what matters most for your family's well-being and future.
Okay, let's unpack this by first understanding the dominant current we're swimming against. The American consumerism challenge. It feels less like a gentle stream and more like a relentless tide, doesn't it?
It truly does. The cultural landscape in the U.S. is deeply ingrained with messaging that actively encourages spending, often prioritizing immediate consumption over saving or long-term financial health.
It's just everywhere.
It is. One source points to the documentary The Minimalists. Less is now, quoting Dave Ramsey, who highlights just how adept marketers are at manipulating our minds. They take something that is clearly a want and, through skillful persuasion and repetition, manage to present it to us as a fundamental need.
That's powerful, turning wants into perceived needs.
Yeah, and the sheer scale of this effort is enormous. The sources highlight the massive increase in advertising spending in the U.S.
I saw that number.
Rocketing from just over $5 billion annually in the 1950s to over $240 billion today.
That's astronomical. Imagine that level of constant, sophisticated messaging, specifically designed to make you feel like you're missing something.
Exactly. That constant barrage of advertising, according to these sources, effectively feeds what one calls the not enough lie.
The not enough lie. Tell me more about that.
Well, the underlying message, whether subtle or overt, is that you, as you are right now, are somehow incomplete or inadequate. The solution, of course, is presented as buying something new, perhaps a beauty product promising transformation, a pair of boots to elevate your style, or even a new car to signal success.
Well,
the core promise is that acquiring this thing will make you whole or happy.
And the frustrating reality, as these sources emphasize, is that this relentless pursuit never actually fills the void. You acquire the item, you might get a fleeting buzz of excitement.
Right, that initial hit.
But that quickly fades. You're left fundamentally unchanged, still feeling that underlying sense of not enough, but your bank account is definitely lighter. It's a cycle designed to keep you consuming.
It absolutely is. And the tangible result of this cultural pressure and conditioning is seen in the statistics you mentioned earlier and others from the sources. The average American family isn't just spending, they're often accumulating debt.
Right, the debt figures.
The average indebted household carries over $16,000 in credit card debt alone.
Just credit cards, wow.
Yeah. And that 60% living paycheck to paycheck, that shows how easily even substantial incomes can be consumed by this culture of more, leaving little room for saving or dealing with the unexpected. It's a widespread vulnerability.
And this consumer culture doesn't just impact our individual wallets. It profoundly shapes our family dynamics and values, right?
It does. One source points out how it can push material possessions to the forefront, sometimes overshadowing more intrinsic values like kindness, empathy, or the satisfaction of personal achievement. It kind of warps what we teach our children is important.
That's a really concerning aspect.
Exactly. And the influence on children begins incredibly early. The statistic that the average American child sees over 20,000 commercials per year is staggering.
20,000.
A year. Per year. This level of exposure, starting from toddlerhood, leads to the early internalization of consumerist values. It shapes their understanding of what happiness looks like, what success means, and what they need to feel good about themselves, often linking it directly to acquiring things.
So it's no wonder this pressure filters down into parenting styles.
Yeah.
There's this palpable cultural pressure to provide the latest and greatest for your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
The must-have toys, the right brand of clothes, the coolest gadgets.
Yeah.
This can lead parents down two potentially difficult paths, either overindulging their children out of a fear of depriving them,
Or, as one source notes, falling into the trap of measuring their own success and love as parents through the material goods they provide.
which isn't fair to them or the kids.
Not at all. It shifts the focus from nurturing values, skills, and relationships to providing physical items. This isn't typically a conscious, intentional parenting choice. It's often a response to powerful external forces telling them this is what good parenting looks like in a consumer society. Overcoming this challenge is a key part of finding financial peace as a family.
Okay, so that's the landscape. A powerful current of consumerism pushing families towards spending, debt, and prioritizing stuff. Now, how do these sources present minimalism as a counter-movement, a pathway to a different kind of financial reality?
Well, minimalism, as these sources describe it, isn't just about having an empty-looking house or a specific aesthetic,
Right, it's more than that.
It's fundamentally a lifestyle centered on simplicity and intentionality. It's about actively reducing the things that are unnecessary, and that means physical clutter, but also unnecessary expenses, commitments that drain our time, even mental clutter.
So it's broader than just physical stuff.
Much broader. It's a deliberate choice to own less, to make room for more of what truly matters.
And one source shares something fascinating. Many people initially embrace minimalism, not for financial reasons at all.
That's right.
They start because they crave less stress, they're tired of endless cleaning and organizing, they want relief from anxiety or that constant feeling of overwhelm, they're seeking more downtime, deeper relationships, a feeling of lightness in their lives.
But what happens, as that source highlights, is that significant financial benefits aren't just a happy accident. They are a natural, almost inevitable outcome of this lifestyle shift.
Interesting. So the money follows the mindset shift.
In many ways, yes. When you intentionally own and want less, your relationship with money fundamentally changes, and financial breathing room begins to appear.
Let's synthesize some of those core financial advantages identified across the sources. One of the most immediate is reduced impulse spending. That seems key.
Right. When you start questioning why you buy things, when you examine the beliefs that advertising has instilled about stuff and self-worth, you naturally become a more conscious consumer.
You pause before clicking buy.
Exactly. You stop making those spur-of-the-moment purchases driven by emotion, boredom, or perceived needs manufactured by marketing. You break the cycle of mindless acquisition.
And this leads directly to lower overall household expenses. Makes sense.
Absolutely. Fewer physical items mean less money spent on storage solutions, less time and money on maintenance and repair, and less need to constantly update decor or furnishings.
And the potential for downsizing.
That's a major one mentioned, the ability to downsize your living space. A smaller home means significantly lower costs across the board, mortgage or rent. Utilities like heating and electricity, property taxes, and ongoing maintenance are all reduced. Less space also inherently limits how much stuff you can accumulate.
Which frees up that money, allowing families to enhance their financial goals and increase savings.
Precisely. When your resources, both money and time, aren't constantly being funneled into acquiring, organizing, and maintaining possessions, that money becomes available for other priorities.
Like what kind of priorities?
Well, it can be actively directed towards building a robust emergency fund, paying off debt faster, saving aggressively for retirement, or investing in experiences like travel or education that often provide far more lasting value and happiness than physical goods.
And speaking of debt, decreased debt seems like a natural consequence of living more intentionally.
It really is. Adopting minimalism encourages living within or even below your means. This reduced reliance on credit cards and loans directly contributes to paying down existing debt and avoiding new debt.
There was an anecdote about that.
Yes, one source shares a powerful anecdote of a family who, after embracing minimalism, were able to aggressively pay off all their credit card debt and car loans, eventually reaching a point where they could live comfortably on just one income.
That's a huge transformation.
It is, and it also simplifies the often overwhelming task of financial management.
How so?
Think about it. Fewer expenses, less incoming clutter to manage, a clearer picture of what you own. Budgeting and tracking your finances becomes much less complex and time-consuming.
Fewer moving parts.
Exactly. It removes layers of financial decision-making that can be overwhelming when you're constantly managing inflow and outflow related to acquiring and maintaining a lot of possessions.
And finally, this shift fosters a greater appreciation for non-material wealth and often aligns with more eco-friendly choices.
That's right. Minimalism naturally shifts focus from material acquisition to appreciating experiences, relationships, personal growth, and time. These are forms of wealth that aren't tied to physical objects.
And an eco angle.
Simultaneously, a minimalist lifestyle often involves making more conscious, sustainable choices, buying less overall, choosing higher quality items that last longer, and reducing waste. These environmentally conscious decisions frequently have positive long-term financial implications as well. You buy less, you waste less, you save more.
So the financial benefits aren't just incidental. They're deeply integrated into the philosophy itself. Now let's get really practical. One source breaks down very specific ways this translates into saving money. Let's group these into some key areas. First, there's the impact on our relationship with shopping and what triggers us to buy.
Yes, this is where the psychological aspect directly impacts the financial. The sources highlight how minimalism, by creating more downtime in your life because you're spending less time on stuff,
Right, less time managing things.
actually provides space for self-awareness. You start to identify your shopping triggers. Are you buying out of boredom, stress, comparison, or seeking validation?
Knowing your triggers, that's powerful.
It is. When you realize your self-worth isn't dependent on your purchases, you significantly reduce frivolous and impulsive spending. It's about addressing the root cause of overspending for many people.
And then there are the concrete ways it reduces the cost of ownership and space, like storage units.
Oh yeah, this includes things like not renting a storage unit. The sources give a startling statistic. The U.S. has 2.3 billion square feet of self-storage space.
That's insane.
Which is over 7 square feet for every person in the country. As one quote from the sources humorously puts it, many people are paying rent to visit incarcerated possessions.
That's a good one.
Owning less means you eliminate that often significant monthly expense. It also enables the possibility of owning a smaller home, leading to all those associated savings we discussed: mortgage rent, utilities, maintenance.
It also shifts how we think about the items we do own.
Yeah.
Less duplication.
Exactly. This includes the idea of not buying duplicate items.
Yeah.
Why own 7 pairs of jeans if you only love and wear 2? Why clutter your kitchen with 5 spatulas when 1 or 2 high-quality ones suffice?
Good point.
Minimalism encourages questioning the need for redundancy. It also promotes buying multi-use items, choosing things that can serve several functions, like using a mason jar for drinking, storage, or as a vase. This means you simply need fewer total items to meet your needs, saving both money and space.
And how does this philosophy influence specific spending categories, like clothing? Seems like a big one for many people.
It is. The sources note that minimalism often leads to spending less on clothes. By owning fewer items, perhaps adopting a concept like a capsule wardrobe.
Capsule wardrobe, right?
A small, carefully curated collection of versatile clothing that can be mixed and matched easily. You develop a clearer personal style and feel less pressure to constantly buy into fleeting trends or feel the need to fit in by wearing the latest fashion.
So less trend chasing.
Less trend chasing, less impulse buying, you buy less frequently and often invest in higher quality pieces that last longer, saving money over time.
Finally, and perhaps most importantly for families, how does this apply to kids' stuff, specifically toys? That feels like a constant battleground.
It really does. Limiting the number of toys you buy for kids is a powerful strategy mentioned. One author shared her experience of removing over 80% of her daughter's toys.
80%.
And witnessing her daughter engage in more creative, focused play with the remaining items.
Interesting. Less was actually more engaging.
Exactly. The perspective here is crucial. Constant toy buying can inadvertently teach children materialism, reinforcing the idea that happiness comes from acquiring new things, which is the very consumerist message we're trying to counter. Buying toys infrequently saves money, reduces clutter, and encourages imaginative play.
These are concrete, actionable points that show how a change in mindset about possessions directly impacts your bank account. It's not just an abstract philosophy.
Not at all. And it becomes even more relevant when we talk about applying these principles while raising kids, which comes with its own set of unique financial demands and challenges.
Right. The sources offer insights into applying financial minimalism at different stages of a child's development. Let's look at some examples, starting with newborns to age 5. Those early years can feel incredibly expensive, especially with all the gear and consumables.
They certainly can, but this is also a time ripe with opportunities for cost saving through minimalism's principles. One suggestion is using cloth diapers instead of disposables.
Cloth diapers, okay.
While there's an upfront cost, they can be significantly cheaper over the long run, especially if you reuse them for subsequent children. Saves money and reduces waste.
And connecting with other parents, that seems key too.
Absolutely. The sources emphasize the value of finding online communities or local parenting groups. These networks are invaluable for swapping or buying secondhand baby gear, clothes, and toys.
Because kids grow so fast.
So fast. Items are often in excellent condition and available at a fraction of the original price. Embracing hand-me-downs from friends and family is another huge money saver for the same reason. You just need to ensure safety standards are met for items like car seats, obviously.
Good point. And exploring free activities seems obvious but is easily overlooked.
It is, but it's a core minimalist principle for experiences. Many communities offer fantastic free resources: library story times, public parks, free events, and festivals.
Things that don't cost a dime.
Right. These provide wonderful, enriching experiences for young children without adding any financial burden, allowing you to prioritize time and connection over paid entertainment.
And being selective about baby gadgets. The market is flooded.
Oh, it is. The source suggests focusing on the true essentials: a safe car seat, a reliable stroller, and being highly selective about other gadgets. Many are optional luxuries that add clutter and cost without significantly improving your parenting experience or the child's development. Questioning, do I really need this?
Great strategies for the youngest. How about ages 5-11 when school starts bringing new expenses? How does minimalism apply there?
This stage shifts focus a bit. Prioritizing nutrition by making homemade meals instead of relying heavily on convenience or processed foods is both healthier and generally more cost-effective.
Plus, involving kids in cooking.
Exactly. Teaches valuable life skills. Managing extracurriculars wisely seems key here, too.
Oh yeah, the activities can really add up.
They really can. It's easy to sign kids up for multiple sports, music lessons, or clubs. Limiting activities to one or maybe two at a time not only reduces the significant costs associated with fees, equipment, and transportation, but also prevents overscheduling stress for both kids and parents.
Quality over quantity.
Precisely. It allows the child to truly engage and develop skills in their chosen activity.
And involving them in shopping. How does that work?
Well, shopping smart for school supplies and clothes by utilizing sales and coupons is important. But this is also a fantastic age to involve kids in the process.
Give us some control.
Yeah, give them a budget for school clothes or supplies and let them make choices within that limit. It's a hands-on lesson in budgeting and prioritization. Teaching basic clothes, maintenance, sewing on buttons, fixing small tiers also helps extend the life of items and saves money on replacements. Less disposable thinking.
And deepening their understanding of family finances, making it less abstract.
Right. As their comprehension grows, include them in age-appropriate discussions about the family budget. Planning a budget-friendly family outing together or working towards a shared savings goal helps them understand financial realities and teamwork.
Moving into the teenage years, age 12 and above, the expenses change again, often getting larger. How does minimalism adapt?
This stage is critical for preparing them for financial independence. Opting for used sports equipment, especially for expensive gear, can lead to significant savings.
Used gear. Good tip.
Teaching them about buying household staples in bulk introduces them to strategies for managing resources efficiently as costs rise with growing appetites and needs.
Encouraging them to earn their own spending money seems particularly valuable now, the connection between work and money.
Absolutely. Getting a part-time job, babysitting, mowing lawns, or even creative side hustles like cleaning wheelie bins, as one source mentioned.
Cleaning wheelie bins.
Whatever works. It teaches the value of hard work and the cost of goods firsthand. It gives them a sense of agency and responsibility over their spending money.
And increasing their financial literacy, moving beyond just saving.
The teenage years are the ideal time to introduce more complex financial concepts, discussing saving, how credit cards and loans work, the basics of investing.
Real-world skills.
Exactly. Helping them open their own bank account, maybe using a prepaid card, like Go Henry mentioned in one source, and setting savings goals provides real-world experience. Discussing basic investment ideas, like using gift money to buy a share of stock, can spark early interest in growing wealth.
And modeling experiences over stuff continues to be important.
Definitely. While you shouldn't dictate how teens spend their earned money, continuing to model and encourage prioritizing experiences like family trips, concerts, or classes over material possessions reinforces this value. Suggesting they use some of their money to gift an experience to a sibling or parent can also be a powerful lesson in generosity and non-material value.
It's clear there are practical applications at every age. But there's a fascinating dilemma raised in the sources. What happens when your kids start having their own money allowance, gifts, and naturally want to buy things, maybe even things you, as a minimalist parent, see as clutter?
Yes. This is a very real tension discussed in the online communities. You're trying to cultivate a home with less clutter and intentionality, but your child is in a stage of exploration and desire, funded by their own small income stream.
How do you reconcile the desire for a minimalist home with allowing kids the freedom to make their own purchasing decisions and potentially bring in more stuff? It seems tricky.
It is tricky, but the sources strongly emphasize that childhood is the crucial time for kids to learn about money by doing.
Learning by doing, okay.
This means allowing them the freedom to make choices, even if those choices lead to what you might see as a failure, like buying a toy they quickly abandon.
Letting them make mistakes.
Yes. Being overly strict or controlling about their money and purchases, according to the sources, can actually lead to unhealthy emotional issues around money and possessions later in life. It's about guidance and boundaries, not control.
So, what specific strategies are recommended? An allowance system seems foundational.
It really is. The sources suggest a regular, consistent allowance rather than linking it directly to chores, which are framed as part of being a family team contributing to the household.
Chores are just part of family life.
Right. A regular allowance teaches delayed gratification and budgeting. If they spend it all today, they have to wait until the next allowance payment to buy something else. This is a fundamental money skill.
And the save, spend, share method. I've heard of that.
Yes. It's a widely recommended approach, especially for younger children. Dividing their allowance into 3 jars or accounts teaches different financial principles simultaneously from a very young age.
Starting early.
Very early. One source points out that core money habits are often formed by age 7, so starting early with saving for goals, managing spending money, and understanding the importance of sharing or giving is incredibly impactful.
Providing them with a designated space for their belongings also seems practical for managing the stuff issue.
Yes, this is a key strategy for managing physical items in a minimalist home while still giving kids agency. Assign them a specific shelf, a bin, or a defined area for their toys and other belongings.
Their zone.
Their zone. The rule is simple. Everything must fit in their designated space. This teaches organization, spatial awareness, and prioritizing. If they want to buy something new, they might have to decide what to let go of to make it fit. Natural consequences.
And having open conversations about consumerism, talking about the ads they see.
This becomes increasingly important as kids get older and are exposed to more advertising, talking openly about how media and marketing try to influence our desires, helping them understand that they don't want to be manipulated by big companies, as one source colorfully puts it, conned by the conglomerates.
Love that phrase.
It builds crucial critical thinking skills around spending and consumption.
Reaffirming the link between earning and spending, that seems important too.
Definitely. Encouraging them to earn their own money for desired purchases reinforces the value of hard work and the cost of things. When they've worked for something, they often appreciate it more and make more thoughtful purchasing decisions.
And introducing more sophisticated financial concepts like saving and investing as they get older.
As we discussed earlier, using their allowance or gift money as a practical vehicle for learning about saving in a bank account, using tools like prepaid cards with parental oversight, or even exploring basic investing principles turns abstract concepts into tangible experiences that prepare them for managing money as adults.
Modeling prioritizing experiences over stuff seems like a quiet but powerful lesson running through all this.
It is. While you don't control their spending choices, consistently valuing and spending family money on experiences, trips to the zoo, museums, camping, classes, rather than constantly acquiring new physical goods sends a strong message about where you believe true value lies.
And how do minimalist families handle the influx of gifts from others? Birthdays, holidays.
Yeah.
That can be a lot of stuff.
That is a common challenge. Strategies like fiver parties, where guests are asked to contribute a small amount of money, $5, instead of buying a physical gift, are discussed as ways to manage the volume of incoming items.
Fiver parties.
Interesting. Those sources note people may still give physical gifts regardless. It's about managing expectations and maybe having conversations beforehand if possible.
Right.
Ultimately, when raising kids in a minimalist home, perhaps the most impactful strategy isn't about rules for the kids, but about the parents' own behavior.
Leading by example.
Exactly. As one source notes, children learn significantly more from observing what their parents do than from what they are told. Modeling mindful consumption, responsible spending, and finding joy in non-material aspects of life is the most powerful lesson of all.
So minimalism provides a framework for us to manage our own relationship with money and possessions. And it equips us with practical strategies for teaching our children essential financial life skills in a world designed to make them want more.
That's a great summary. And the sources also highlight how embracing minimalism isn't just about optimizing for today. It's a powerful way to build financial resilience and security, particularly important in times of economic uncertainty.
That feels incredibly relevant right now. One source, drawing from online community discussions, touches on this tension trying to declutter and simplify when the news is full of economic concerns, potential recessions, job insecurity. There's that instinctual pull to hold on to things just in case.
It's a very real psychological hurdle. Economic uncertainty can trigger a scarcity mindset, making it difficult to let go of items you haven't used in years because the thought creeps in, what if things get bad and I suddenly need this?
Yeah, that what if factor is strong.
But the sources counter that just-in-case impulse, especially regarding excess stuff, by highlighting the often overlooked costs of keeping things.
The hidden costs of clutter.
Precisely. They emphasize the tangible costs, particularly if you might need to move. Think about the price of packing materials, the physical labor involved in moving excess items, needing larger moving trucks, and especially the recurring cost of renting storage units. It all adds up.
And beyond moving, there's the simple cost of the space itself within your home. That's something we don't often quantify.
This is a crucial reframing from the sources. Space in your home has inherent financial value. Keeping unused or rarely used items consumes valuable square footage.
Space you're paying for one way or another.
Exactly. That space could be used for something that brings joy or utility today, or if you choose to downsize, enabled by having less stuff, it directly translates into lower housing costs. One person in the online discussion even put a hypothetical value on their empty space, calculating its worth at maybe $1 per square foot per month. It makes you think about what your clutter is really costing you.
That makes the cost of holding on to things very real. And focusing on acquiring skills rather than hoarding items. That's an interesting alternative.
That's another insightful perspective. In uncertain times, practical skills can be more valuable and provide greater security than a stockpile of materials.
Like the sewing example.
Exactly. The example given is learning to sew versus simply accumulating a large fabric stash. The skill of sewing gives you the ability to repair, create, and adapt regardless of what you have on hand, offering both practical benefits and a sense of resourceful, intentional creation, which is empowering. Skills don't take up space.
That's a great point. The idea of community as a resource also came up as an alternative to personal stockpiling, relying on each other.
This is a powerful point, particularly in the online community discussions. Building strong relationships and participating in local sharing networks like Buy Nothing groups creates a safety net.
The Buy Nothing groups, right?
If you declutter something you genuinely need later, you might be able to borrow or get it from a neighbor. This fosters community resilience and connection, reducing the individual pressure to keep absolutely everything just in case.
Leaning on the community instead of just your own stash.
Right. And decluttering in uncertain times can also provide mental peace that shouldn't be underestimated.
How so? The mental aspect.
It absolutely can. When your physical space is cluttered, it often leads to mental clutter, a sense of overwhelm, unfinished tasks, visual noise that drains your energy. Reducing physical clutter frees up mental bandwidth, allowing you to think more clearly, feel less stressed, and better navigate the anxieties that economic uncertainty can bring. Less stuff, less to worry about managing.
So minimalism helps free up physical space, financial resources, and mental energy. How does the money saved connect to that broader goal of financial security? Where does that freed up money go?
Well, the financial breathing room created by spending less on acquiring and maintaining stuff can be strategically directed toward building a stronger financial foundation for the future. The sources explicitly link the savings from minimalism to establishing a crucial emergency fund.
The safety net.
Exactly. Aiming for 3 to 6 months of living expenses provides a vital safety net against unexpected job loss or other crises. It reduces that immediate financial panic if something goes wrong.
And looking even further ahead, beyond the emergency fund.
The savings can also fuel long-term investments essential for family security. The sources mention tools like 529 plans, specifically designed for college savings.
Important for families.
Very. Or UGMA accounts, which are ways to transfer assets or investments to minors. And of course, consistently contributing to retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs is fundamental for long-term stability and providing for your family's future decades down the line. Minimalism frees up the capital to make these critical investments possible.
Well, it really does come full circle. It starts with recognizing the challenge of consumerism and ends with a more secure financial future and a clearer focus on what truly matters.
That's it.
Minimalism isn't just about clearing surfaces. It's a holistic approach that addresses our consumption habits, saves money through incredibly practical means, empowers us to teach our children vital life skills, and builds genuine financial resilience against uncertainty.
That's the essence of it. It's a powerful way for U.S. families to push back against the constant pressure to consume, create tangible savings at every stage of raising children, teach kids invaluable lessons about money and value, and strengthen their financial position for the long term.
And as you said earlier, it's not just about the money, is it? There's more to it.
No, absolutely not. The financial benefits are significant, but the deeper value, as the sources emphasize, lies in the freedom it creates.
Freedom.
Freedom from the burden of physical and mental clutter, freedom from comparison and external pressures, freedom from the guilt of impulse buys. It's about consciously redirecting your resources, your money, your time, your energy towards what truly nourishes your family. Strong relationships, meaningful experiences, personal well-being, and ultimately peace of mind.
This deep dive has certainly given us a lot to consider. Thinking about the constant pressure to buy and the very real costs of clutter, both the financial costs we discussed and the mental, whether it's one small area in your home or perhaps one specific spending habit for your family that you could choose to simplify this week.
Just one small thing.
What tiny step could you take to create just a little bit more breathing room, both financially and mentally?
A small, intentional decision can be the starting point for significant change. It really can.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been really insightful.
Our pleasure. It was great discussing it. Until next time.